Shalom, everyone. Shavua Tov. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. When people ask, I've received so many messages, an outpouring of concern for me, my well-being, my family's well-being. How are you? Are you okay? This is my reply. Thank God. Thank God my family and I remain safe, and we are not okay. There is nothing okay about what is happening in Israel right now. I have been here on and off for the past 53 years during several wars, intifadas, terrorist attacks, campaigns into Lebanon and Gaza. I have never witnessed and been a part of what is happening right now. So thank God, I do remain safe. I do, along with everyone in my family, except, and please have her in your mind for safety, my granddaughter, Talia Neima, is an officer. We're so proud of her in the Search and Rescue Division. And she has been deployed with her unit to the Deep South. Oh, gosh. You know, there's a quote. It's a quote from Robin Sharma, contemporary Canadian writer. The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. In holistic living, mind, body, heart, and soul, we cultivate a heart-driven life rather than a mind-driven life. I have to ask all of you, even before yesterday, the name of the course that I'm talking about is practice quieting the mind in the middle of a war. I'm talking to you about quieting the mind. Have you ever felt that you are a victim of your own never-ending onslaught of diverse thoughts, each competing for attention? Perhaps you have experienced a torrent of many thoughts vying at the same time for your attention. This course will help all of us cultivate methodologies, practices, techniques on how to quiet the mind. And why do we want to quiet the mind? Well, it feels a lot better when we quiet the mind. We can move into a more relaxed, reflective, and responsive rather than reactive state. As we are now in Israel and around the world, those who are supporting us, as we become aware of a quiet emptying out, our attention can now begin to focus on the Creator's presence as she speaks to us through the still small voice, the Kol Dmama Daka. We learn in the book of Kings 1, chapter 19, verse 12, when Eliyahu Navi, Elijah the prophet, is invited by the Shekhinah, the divine, to come out of the cave where he sought protection. And there, coming out of the cave, he would sense the presence of the divine. Oh, there was such a strong wind that rocks, huge rocks, were broken apart. There was a rumbling similar to an earthquake. There were great fires. And in all of these, Eliyahu Hanavi did not sense the divine presence. A lot of external noise. Is that familiar to you? Different concerns, different worries, confusions, insecurities, unsureties, the winds, the rumblings, the fires, and then everything calmed down. And then there was the still small voice, the Kol Dmama Daka. and gaining access to this, encountering this, really being with this and hearing this still small voice is the purpose of Jewish contemplative practice, meditative practice, and the course that I'm going to be sharing with you in 2 weeks. I want to share with you, though, and how real this has become for me just in the past 24 hours. It's a way of talking about how I've been experiencing the past 24 hours, which many people have been asking me, and at the same time is a perfect segue into this. Yesterday morning, Shabbat morning, I'm at my daughter's home with 3 of her 6 children, her 3 and 4-year-old and her 18-year-old. And yesterday morning, we're sitting outside on her mirpeset, her balcony, having our traditional, whenever I visit her, coffee with cheesecake. Beautiful day. We're talking about how soon we'll be going to the synagogue to celebrate Simchat Torah, dancing with my 3 and 4-year-old grandchildren. I was so excited. All of a sudden, we hear boom, boom, boom. Now, I can tell you this. Having lived through Hamas's horrific missile and rocket attacks many, many, many times over the years, I knew what was going to follow next. And we looked at each other with that glance of, I know what you're thinking. And then sure enough, the sirens. So we grabbed the 3 and 4-year-old, my 18-year-old Miriam, and we all move into the safe room. It's a room within the home, which since 2004 became a law after the Intifada, the second Intifada, that people, when a new construction goes up, there must be one of the bedrooms, or people use it as an office, what's called a safe room, similar to a private bomb shelter. So we all went into the safe room, and this was the beginning. This was the beginning. This is my grandson's, my 2 grandsons' bedroom. And there we were. I want to share with you some of the thoughts that barraged my mind as Hamas was barraging Israel with over 3,000 missiles and rockets, kidnapping civilians and murdering others, and also kidnapping soldiers. How do I support my daughter in this moment? How do I support my grandchildren? Reflecting on when I was in my 20s during the Yom Kippur War in 1973, and the Gulf War with my daughter when she was a youngster, and my 5 other children in the Jewish quarter in the Old City during the Gulf War crisis. Questioning my own government. A surprise attack? Where was the intelligence? Really? Thinking about how I will get home after Shabbat because the buses would not be running, so I will be able to record this video. I didn't have my computer with me. That also entered my mind. Yikes, my cats will need to be fed. My granddaughter, Talia, an officer in search and rescue. At that moment, I didn't know where she was. I found out later. She was home with my son and other children in the Golan, and received the call deploying her back to her group in Ramla, then back to, and now into the Deep South. My other granddaughter, Chevy, no contact with my daughter. After Shabbat, we were able to track her down. Thank God. Thank God we reached her. She's fine. Realizing I need to finish a chapter in my book that I'm immersed in before I forget some of the ideas I want to get out there to the manuscript. How do I respond to my daughter's request to help her explain to the little ones what the booms and sirens in the safe room are all about? How do I do that? Realizing that, oh my gosh, we're not going to the Hakafot. We won't be able to celebrate Simchat Torah. Visualizing those who have been kidnapped and thinking of their parents, visualizing my own children crying and screaming in 1991 when we were ready to go to this secure safe room, one we had to make up. in 1991 during the sirens, visualizing me in 1973 when the liaison from the kibbutz said, after the third day of fighting, we're not a religious kibbutz, but if you believe in God, this is a good time to pray. We are losing, and you may not wake up alive tomorrow. I will never forget those words out of his mouth. And of course, many, many, many other feelings that came from the thoughts. I will tell you, Chevra, this is not so much a promotion for my course. I'm telling you the truth. If I had not been cultivating over the years how to quiet the mind, I really don't know what I would have done today. I took moments and I went by myself and I cultivated, I practiced quieting the mind. And I remained calm. I remained centered. I needed to be that way for my daughter and my grandchildren. Without, though, cultivating practices of quieting the mind, this is real. This is real. It was never more relevant, never more timely, never more necessary. So I urge you that we should not have to use this practice when there's a war. Every day we can use this to calm us down, to gain greater access to the more quiet parts of ourselves, so we can be in a world of a lot of noise with calmness, with surety, with responsive behavior rather than reactive, with thriving rather than surviving behavior. So I invite you to register immediately. And if you have doubts, maybe some of you have not learned with me before, or you're not really sure if this is for you, then sign up for the first class at no charge. That's my gift to you. Come to the first class. Each class anyway is recorded. Everyone will receive the recording with the source sheets, both when I send out the link for the text and when I send out the recording. Try it on. Is there ever been a better time to quiet the mind than now? Join with me, please. Pray for my granddaughter. Pray for all the soldiers, all the young men and women that are literally risking their lives so I could be recording this video for you now in safety and in security. And may we never know a war like this ever again. May they all come back. May we be victorious, and may they come back safe and sound. And I look forward to sharing amazing Torah from Rabbi Dov Ber Pinson's book in 2 weeks. Kol Tuv. Just put the good thoughts, the good feelings out into the world, the good vibrations. Kol Tuv, Todah.